Today we are making a not so popular but delicious and nutritious Bambara beans or Aboboi with Tatale. You're going to love this one once you learn how to make it to perfection. So please stay with me and let's get started. So I'll begin by washing thoroughly my Bambara beans. Bear in mind I have already soaked these beans for like 12 hours because they are tough, they are hard and kasa. So please don't skip on the soaking. Of course, if you have a pressure cooker, make use of it, but I don't have one. So I'm going to be using my stove top to cook this. If I tell you it took a while, boy, 2 hours before we had something to eat, but it was definitely worth the wait. So, like I said, I'm washing this thoroughly because there are some very bad beans in there. So make sure you take out all of them, or else you'll be chewing some insects and it will not be pleasant, okay? So just to mention, I am cooking this with my sister. So if you see a switch of hands, don't panic, okay? So she is pouring the beans into the saucepan. We're going to be adding enough water to cover and separate the beans a bit and then start to cook it. So along the line, we added a bit more water, maybe about 2 times or 3 times to make the beans soft to our preference, okay? So bear that in mind. When the water reduces, there is nothing wrong with adding more water to ensure your beans continues to be as soft as you want it. At this stage, I had been cooking the beans for like 30 minutes. It had become soft too, but I needed it to be softer. And I added a bit of baking soda, but I couldn't find the clip here, but that's why the color is the way you're seeing it on the screen right now. And then after maybe about 45 minutes, I went in with some pepper and onion, which I'm going to allow to cook for about 10 minutes, and then get back into the pot, take it out, blend, and put it back into the beans. So they are going to add, when I say they, I mean the onion and the pepper are going to add some heat and flavor into the beans. You can increase the amount of pepper you're adding to your preference, okay? So once that goes in, I'll give it a good mix and then add salt at this point. So do not make a mistake and then add salt when your beans are still hard, or else it will be cooking for a really long time. So now that my beans are a bit tender, I'm going in with the salt and then I'll give it a good mix and allow it to continue cooking. So from this clip, it took probably an extra 30 minutes. So if you're going to have this Bambara beans for lunch, better start cooking it the minute you wake up in the morning, okay? Now let's get to the plantain. So my sister does not like the tatale, so she opted for the normal fried plantain you'd have with your red, your gobe, your normal black-eyed beans, okay? I, on the other hand, cannot eat Bambara beans with normal fried plantain, so I'm going to make the tatale. The difference here is that you should look out for the plantains that are really soft to make the tatale. For the fried plantain, I mean, it's to your preference. If you want very soft fried plantain, that's your business, okay? But if you don't want the plantains to be very soft, you can use firmer ones, okay? And then I'm going to prep hers first, and then I'm going to go ahead and then prep mine. If you've watched the video till this end, I'm super grateful for you. Please give me a thumbs up on the video so that YouTube will continue to recommend my videos to others, and others will see the video, and this community will keep blooming. If you've also watched the video till this point and you have not subscribed yet, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and let's keep the family growing. So I'm on to my tatale, or my plantain that I'm going to use for my tatale, okay? As you can see, it's very soft. So, I mean, somebody will say it's rotten, but no, this is how we want it for the tatale to tatale, okay? So I'm going to cut that up and then set it aside. And then we'll move to the process of putting the tatale together, and then we'll go ahead and fry that. So I'll not be showing the normal fried plantain because I didn't want it that way. So, I mean, you know how to fry plantain in normal cooking oil or whatever oil you want to use, okay? So, that aside, this is my tatale plantain. I'm going to get out my earthenware bowl or apotoyiwa, and then I'm going to start by grinding some pepper, ginger, and onions. So, in fact, my sister is the one who did the grinding over here, okay? So I cut up the vegetables for her and then added a bit of salt, and she used her abasa to grind it. I'm thankful for her, Charlie. So of course, grind these until very smooth. Once that smoothness has been achieved, I'll go ahead and add my plantains into the earthenware bowl bit by bit. So you can pour all in at the same time and grind, okay? But I wanted it to not be too chunky or lumpy because I want it a bit smooth. Some people want the chunks of the plantain to be in there. So if that's how you want it, that's fine. But I wanted it to be a bit smooth, not too smooth though. So I went in with the plantain bit by bit. So I want to talk a bit about the next ingredient I'll be adding into my earthenware bowl or apotoyiwa, okay? So I'm going to be adding some flour. So here is the thing, you can use any powder or flour of your choice. In the past, I've used Tom Brown before and it worked perfectly. You can use any protein powder. I've shared one of those such protein powders on my channel. I'll be sure to leave that link in the description box. Very nutritious and healthy for your kids as well, okay? So apart from all-purpose flour, you can use wheat flour, Charlie, any flour you have at home, okay? Add it to sort of bind the plantain. But the more flour you add, the tougher your tatale becomes. So be careful with that. Unless, of course, you like your tatale to be tough. But one thing you don't also want is that the flour that you are adding, the taste of it will overpower the plantains, okay? So don't be too heavy-handed on it, okay? As you can see, my flour has been added and I'm mixing to ensure that it's nicely incorporated in there before going ahead to fry. So now let's talk about frying the tatale. So first of all, it's shallow frying. Second of all, traditionally, we use palm oil. But if you don't like palm oil or you don't have it, you can use your normal vegetable oil and that's fine, okay? So into my frying pan, I'm adding some palm oil. So I thought personally that it was too much after I added it, but I didn't want to take it out. So I just went ahead to fry my tatale. So I am dipping my ladle into some water so that I can be able to shape my tatale and flatten it a bit in my frying pan. So that's a takeaway tip, okay? So once my tatale goes in there, I'll leave this on low heat, ensuring that the side that is touching the frying pan cooks nicely. Do not rush the process or else you burn the outside and the inner part of the tatale will still not be cooked. So as you can see, I turned it and then the other side is also cooking at the moment. And because I like my tatale a little crispy on the outside, I will make sure to turn it again so that the other part also browns more than usual, if I may say. And then when it's ready, I'll take it out of my oil and then fry the remaining. In my case, I had just a small bit of the tatale left, so yes, just one tatale more to fry. And I was ready to dig in because at this point I was starving, okay? And also, don't worry, my sister had also finished frying her plantain, so we're just waiting to eat. So our beans or our Bambara beans is also cooked, very soft, very silky. So I'm going to go ahead and plate. So just to point out, it's looking like this in color because of the baking soda. But if you have a pressure cooker, which would definitely cook it in a shorter amount of time and with no help from the baking soda, you can have a different color altogether, and that's fine, okay? So let's go ahead and plate. So my Bambara beans first, and then my tatale will go in. And I'll be adding a final top up or touch to this deliciousness. Do me a favor, just don't say wow. Go and do your findings before you come and chastise me in the comment section. That is some sugar. Bambara beans is not Bambara beans without sugar, okay? Like I said, go and do your findings. I hope you're inspired to try this recipe. If you do, certainly leave me a feedback. Also, let me know if you've tried this delicacy before and let me know how you felt about it because I certainly love it. I craved it, I made it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And until we meet again in another video, please don't forget to keep blooming.